I think I'm good now. So someone to confirm that you guys are able to see my screen. Okay, that's good. By the way, yeah. Yeah. So I was asking if anyone who is with a question on how to create a data frame. Anyone? I think we can have just the last example, but I think we are good. Let us see how we can locate rows in a data frame. So you might be having like uh, a, a data frame with a lot of maybe rows and columns, and to some extent, maybe at some instance, maybe you want to do operation on a specific maybe row or column. So we must like learn how to locate those rows and also columns. So I think we can start by learning how to use lock. Um, Lock is an attribute that is used to return one or less specified rows. So and how we use that is um, I think you can just have I think you can have an example to illustrate that. So let us work on this example you have in here. You can learn to locate some rows here. Location lock attribute. So you can use this lock attribute to locate some rows. So let's say for instance we want to locate the row at index 0 here. So we can do that by, let's say, having this. We can just print this. You don't have to. You can just print this. You don't have to assign this one to a variable. We can just print this by saying we want our data frame is called. I think we should print this one just below here. We have created our data frame so that we are able to access it. So we can have our data frame is called what is called second data frame here. So we can just invoke it, second data frame, and then we just invoke this lock attribute here, and we want to access data at index 0. So we can just try to we can comment out these and just try to print the data at the row at log 0. So I think we can just try to get that data, whereby we are getting. I think we could have as well as print this above here. Let me just uncomment this. So you can see that now we have located the data at index 0 using this log attribute. So the data at log 0 is we have marks and we have grade. So we have just accessed the marks and the grade for that may be person. You can as well as access the data at location 1. So if at all I will run that code again, you will see that I have accessed the data at row 2. I mean row 1. This one is row 1. We always start from 0. So we have row 0 and then row 1. So we have accessed the data positioned uh, at row 1. So you can also access even the data at 2 again. Yeah, we have accessed the marks in the grade at row 2 now. So that is how we use the log attribute to access data in a certain row. It may be a large data set, or even these hard-coded values here. Um, so I think that is just as simple as that. You just have to invoke these your data frame now, and in your data frame you will just like use the dot operator to invoke the log at it's called the log attribute. Then we just have to use the squared brackets, and then just specify the row that you want to get data for. It is just as simple as that. So you can even assign this one to maybe a variable here. Let me just show you how you can do that. Maybe we can have a variable called data at log what at log maybe 2 is equals to this. You can just cut that and paste it here. Then now you will just have to print that variable that has your data. You'll still get the same output. This one. So it is just as simple as that. Let us check now how we can access using index. I think that is our next concept that we should learn, and then maybe you can ask a question. So with index argument, you can name your own index. You can name, we can have named indexes. So you notice that that anytime we have these coded maybe values here. Let me just show you. Anytime we have these coded values, like this one, the marks and for grades, you notice that we are getting the default indexing of these. We have default indexing for what? For these our data frame here. This is the default indexing. You realize that in our data we don't have this 0 1 2 0 1 2. It will go up to infinity. So this is just the default indexing of your data frame. You can as well as change this if you really want to. And how we do that is through now these named index concept here. Let me just show you something here. It is just here, named indexes. So you can have a named index, and how we achieve that is just by specifying the index. And maybe you can now name your indexes. If maybe we have an example here where we have maybe calories and duration. So we are having maybe the number of the number of days that you did an exercise, and what you are trying to get here is the calories that you burned in a certain duration by doing exercise in a certain duration of time. So initially we can have this data at first, Let me just use this data here. Just copy it. We just have this here. I think we can just change this our example to you can just write this data. By this time we are going to have calories. And then we have a duration here. Duration. Then maybe we can just pass in here these values. That is for 20. We have 380. Just have 380. Then we have 45. No, 390. I mean 390. So let us indicate the duration. That is 50 seconds. I think you can just write this one in seconds. That one will make sense. 40. Then we have 45. So if we try to print out these, we can just go away with this log attribute and just try to print out these, and then we see the values that we are going to get. So we have the calories and the duration in seconds. So the calories burned when you exercise for 50 seconds is for 20. For when you exercise for 40 minutes is 380. When you exercise for 45 is 390. So you're noticing that we have these now default indexing for 0, 0, 1, 2. But in this case we don't know what uh, what this 0, 1, 2 like mean. So we can have now named index whereby we are going to have like this one was day 1, this one was maybe day 2, this one was day 2. Now that is what I'm calling named indexing. So and how we achieve that, we can just have we can just put a comma and then we put index. We put index, and then we are just going to write what to write the names for those rows. So we can have this one as day 1, day 1. We can also have day 2, and this one should be in brackets, in quotes. And then comma, we have day 3 here. So let us just have day 3. We have day 3 here. So if I now happen to run these, we should have now named named indexes, whereby I think now this one make more sense. When we have day 1, we know that we exercised for 50 minutes, for 50 seconds, and we burned these kind of calories. And then day 2 and day 3 as well. So this is how now you name your indexes. So I think you can also access, you can now use the log attribute maybe to access this data at day 2. You can just specify the day 2 here now. Day 2. Just need the data for day 2. Then you can just print out this, and then you see what you're going to get. You're getting that day 2 we burn these kind of calories, that is 380. and the duration that was exercised is 40 seconds. I think now you see the meaning of having a named index, and also use of the log attribute to access data for a specific row. So any question up to that point? You can even access the data for day one. You still get the data for day one. Yeah. Any question? Are we good? Thumbs up if you understood that. I think that one was just a simple concept. Any question? I'm hoping you don't have any question. So I think we can just I don't think you have any question. So let us just move forward to some other stuff here. So as I was saying that now you can work maybe with comma separated values. Those are the CSV files, and then convert those files into data frames. So let's say maybe you have a CSV file that maybe has maybe even maybe 100,000 rows of maybe records. So you will not like be required now to again like type all that data into maybe a dictionary or uh, something of the sort. Uh, with a data frame again, we have those what we have the provision for now loading those CSV files, and then we convert them into data frames. And that is what we are going to do now. We try to load a CSV file into a data frame, and then we try to convert that CSV file into a data frame. Then maybe even we try to manipulate some data in that CSV file. So I think we can just start by, I don't know, yeah, I understand that you guys, most of you have these CSV files, but I think you can just create one here, just a random one. Um, there is this site called Makaru. I think it's more, yeah, this site. It's called Mokaru. The Mokaru. With this site, you can just create random data sets of whatever size that you want. That I just have to work with an ID. Let us just have first name and an email. So I just need 50 rows. Need format to be of CSV file, and you can use that. Are they not giving me the option to keep? Yeah. generate this data. Uh, Let me just download these data here. I think I can share. I can share these. Let me just rename these is what student info. I think I can share with you these. I share these with you guys. That is through what WhatsApp. In the meantime, I think I can just open these.
James,
Yes.
can one use Mokaru?
Yes.
Can one use Mokaru to create dummy reports?
Dummy reports.
Yeah.
Not really. What you can just generate with Mokaru is just some data sets. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm showing you the tricks to get these data sets. Just dummy data sets. So this is the data that I have. So this is the data that I want us to convert into what? Into a data frame. This one. Let me just share with you. I think that my WhatsApp is function. Not. Let me just load it in here. So load this file. Make it just like here. Yeah, I already have these file now. I think it is in sample data. So yeah, let us have. I think you can just copy these. Let me just have this another cell here. Let us import. The first step is always to import pandas spd. Um, the second thing that we need here is now to read this data. I think you can just call it student info. Student underscore info, and then we want pd dot read underscore csv file. And now I want to read this csv file from what? I don't know. They have the provision for copying the path. Let me. Yeah, I think it's just as simple as that. I think I have my data loaded here. So let me just share with you this file here. Just a minute. just share this file. I think you can just download that file. I've already sent the file. You can just read that. If you're using if you're using the collab, uh, you can just upload that file in your collab files. And how we do that is just you're just going to you can just come at these where you have sample data, and then you can just click these three dots, and then you'd see the option for uploading. Then you can just hit that and then navigate to where you have your file, and then just you click these and just open. It's just as simple as that. For those of us who are using VS Code, again, it is very simple. You're going to do what? You're going just to copy that file in your working directory. You can just copy the file and place it in the folder that you're working from. Um, so this is how we load that data. I think I don't know. Let me just try to print these and see what we have here. Uh, and this is what I have now. I think I've loaded that data. This is the data that we have before even we convert it into a data frame. This is what we have. So we have the ID, we have the first, last name. So um, you notice it has how many records? It has like 50 records. Yeah, it has 50 records. So we can again convert this one into a data frame. The same process. You're just going to say this is student. You can call it student data frame, and then this one is equals to what? This one is equals to, we want to use ed dot data frame then you can pass in our student underscore info. And that is what we have. We can as well as print student data frame here. We just copy these and paste it here. Then I just have to comment out that this one is student data frame. It should be like that. You can now just try to print out these. Am I having that problem? What are they saying? Am I getting this error here?
Spelling of the data frame.
Oh yeah. I had a typo there. Is should be data frame, not data frame. I think that is what is running in my head. So this is my data frame here. This is what I have as my data frame. I think you can do it with these index stuff. use let me just check these. I think there is a way we can do away with this index, but it has no issue. Let us just have it like this. This is now our data frame. I think we should have omitted these. We will see how to. You can just you can omit some columns if at all you don't need them.
James,
Yes.
kindly, can you come up where you are to import data? That's student data.
Oh,
How you've imported this data to your Jupyter
oh, in your
workbook.
Jupyter,
Yes,
all this column.
yes,
Oh,
yes, yes.
okay. I think in Jupyter we have. Let me just open my Jupyter and show you how to load that data. Okay, I can just launch it. But for those who are using Colab, are you good or it was too fast? Are those using Colab, are we good? Eric?
For me, you are too fast.
I was too fast. Okay, let me just finish that process. Leave it for.
It's saying syntax error, Unicode error, then Unicode escape,
Okay.
codec can't decode words
Okay.
in position.
Let me just show you how to go about that. So I think I'm going to start with for those guys who are using Colab. Eric, you can mute your mic. Thank you. So I'm sure that every one of us is able to see these sample data um, folder here. This one. When you put your cursor on it, you must be seeing what 3 dots here. So you can just click those 3 dots, and you're going to see some options here. So you're creating a new file, a new folder, rename. But our interest is in upload option. This one. So you can just click upload, and then it will like automatically take you to your what, to your file. Is it called file explorer or something of the sort? So you can choose where you have pressed your data. In my case, it is in downloads, so you can just click this one to select, and then I'll just have to open that file. For me, I'll not click open because I already have the file uploaded, but you just have to click this open, and then you will have your data in this folder, that is sample underscore data. So I can just cancel that because I don't want to repeat that process. For those of us who are using Jupyter, I think let me just open these. Again, this one is just simple. What is this? You can move into down. Is it document? Those files are in document. In my case, then I have lectures. Then I have, is it lecture 5? I think I can open this. So I'm assuming your current position is this one where you have opened your notes. So how to upload that data? You can just again click this file here, and for your case, is it at this? Let me, I'm using an updated Jupyter. Let me just see this. Let me try to. I think these guys have changed something here. But you can just move. You can just move where we have file. I don't know. Let me see. Let me just show you how to do that. I think this one will be easier. So if you're you're in the same, like in my case here, let me just show you. I just want to move back. Yeah, I'm at home here. So you notice that I have these. I have this folder called lecturer, and then I have slash bounty lectures. So what you can do, you can just move this file here. Let me just show you. You can just move this file in your working directory or the folder. You can just copy this, and in my case, I just want to take it to where I have my working directory, where I have these lectures. So I can just paste that data here. Do I have options for pasting? I can just paste that data here. It's just right here. So now when I'm in this working directory here, let me just show you this. You notice that now I'm able to see this student info file here, right here. So they're in the same they're in the same folder as my lecture 5 here, right? So to read that file, it will now be easier because I'll just import pandas as pd, and then I'll just this is df for data frame. I'll just pd dot read csv file, then I'll just indicate the name of that file, that is student underscore what info. I'm hoping that is the name of the file, dot csv. Then if I just happen to, I can just comment out that and try to print this df here, with df array. I can just call it student info, make more sense. Let me just try to see if I've read these data. So let me just try to run these. I think I should have created a new cell here. just run this. Selected cell. Yeah, I think I've been able to read this file. It is just that simple. You can just copy that file name in your working directory, or the folder you are working with. In my case, it is lecture 5. It's just very simple. Or you can maybe a question. Okay, no. Eric, what is your issue?
Yes, I think here for copy path, it should be forward slash between those words, like see username forward slash then admin.
At what where
When you say copy path, it is bringing backslash.
you using Jupyter or the Colab?
Jupyter.
I didn't want you to copy the path. You can just like as long as your data file is in the same folder as your program file. I think you don't have to copy the path, because you might as well as get some errors. So
Okay.
that is why I told you to just move this file in your working directory. I think you're good up to that point. Who is not able now to read that CSV file? Let me see by show of hands. Bethwell, what is your issue?
I'm unable to run it. Once I try to run it, it's reading some error.
Can you share your screen so that we can help you? Bethwell?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, you can just. Any other person who is not able to read that file? Any other person? What about the rest? Winnie, are you good?
I'm actually just following.
Oh, you're not. Again,
I'll go through the notes. I got distracted a bit, then I got lost.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'll go through the notes, then I'll catch up.
Okay. So let us help Bedwell here. Also Bedwell you're using Colab, right?
Yes, I'm using Colab.
Yes, let us just check what is your issue here. Can you just click can you click these arrow that is facing downwards where we have sample underscore data? No, not yeah, that one. Yeah, I think your what? Your CSV file is outside that folder. You can just drag it into that sample data. Alright, then can you now just and copy the path? Copy path, and then you can just paste it where you have where you had your path. Just pd.read csv file, and then you can just delete this path you're using initially. Then you try to paste the new path. And, you see.
So I delete it from what point?
Just the path where you have these opening and closing, whatever.
Okay.
Yes, up to that point. Then paste that. Yeah, close it, and then add a parenthesis. Right. Okay. Can you just print the student name? You can just print.
Can I just?
Okay, it's okay. You can just run. You can just try to run that. Yeah, I think now it's good.
I think now it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, any other person? I'm hoping the rest of us are good as well. So, let me resume presenting. Yeah, this is my data we're using Jupyter, and this is my data when using Colab. So I think we are good up to that point. So what else do we do? I think we can just move to the next thing, which is max rows. And we are told that the number of rows. Yes.
Can I see that program that you have run, that students underscore info for Jupyter?
Oh, okay. Let me just share that. It's just a 3 lines code. It's here. And I'm assuming that your student info file is in the same folder as this file.
Thank you.
Okay. So let us just get to the max rows, that is maximum rows, and we are told that the number of rows returned in defined in pandas option settings. I think this one is quite straight. It's just trying to tell us that uh, you can know the number of the maximum number of lines that pandas program can return. And how we do that is you can just use two lines of codes here to show that. I think you can just run these here. Let me see the maximum number of lines or records that my collab can return. So how we achieve that, you're just going to import pandas as pd, and then you just want to print. It will be a number. So we just want to just in the pd, in pandas we have options, and in options we have a display method, and in display method we have max rows. So this is called a dot operator. Is just used to access those inbuilt functions. In this case, like in PD, we have maybe a folder that is called options. In that options, we have another folder that is called display, and in display, that is where we have our function that is called max rows. So I think you can just run that, and in my case, I'm told that the maximum number of rows that I can access is 60. I don't know on your side. You can try in Jupyter. Let us see this in Jupyter. Then I can have another cell here and just try to run this. And see, I'm still getting the same number of as max rows, but that one is just for how do we call it? That one is just basic knowledge. No one will ask you that. Don't expect that one in an interview. Um, so we also getting just an explanation that in my system the number is 60, which means that if the data frame contains more than 60 rows, the printdf statement will return on only what the headers and the first and the last 5 rows. So I think we are going to verify these after we have a large data set. In our case, it is displaying all the records here simply because we have less than less than 60 rows. But if we had like 100, you notice that we are not going to get all those records displayed. I think we can. Let me just show you that. I think I can as well as create maybe 100 records here and see the kind of data that is going to be displayed. I think I can just change this one to something like student underscore info underscore something like underscore 1. Assuming the first one was maybe 0. I think I can just import this one very fast here. Let me just change this one to underscore 1. Let us just try to print this and see the output here. So you see we are getting the first. Okay, you were told that. Let me just repeat that. So we were saying that in my system the number is 60, which means that if the data frame contains more than 60 rows, the print df statement will return only the headers and the first and the last 5 rows. I think that one is verified because in our case here we are getting the first 5 rows, and then these are the headers, that is the ID, first name, last name, and email, and then we have some dots, and then the last 5 again, the last 5 rows. That is the meaning of the max rows. So when you get maybe something like this, you shouldn't get worried, maybe seeing as if you're making a mistake or you have some errors. So um, that is it. So mm, let me just move to what let us just get to the basic analysis of data frames. And I think we have viewed the data, so let us just get to the basics of now analyzing these data frames. So, and the first method I want us to learn today is the head method. You can see its head, and then we have some parentheses. I told you that whenever you see maybe a word with that heads with parentheses, this one is a function, and in this case this one is an inbuilt function. Its implementation, again, it is hidden from us. What we just need is just to apply. We don't know where the implementation of this function means that we have a code that is running uh, somewhere else. We just have to invoke that functionality. So we are told that the head method returns the headers and a specified number of rows starting from from the top. So I think we can illustrate that here. And I don't want to display all the data. Now I just want, maybe I just need by default, that head function will just show us the first 5 rows of the data. I think you can illustrate that by invoking this data here and calling that function head. Then I can just run this, and you notice that I'm getting the first 5, just the first 5 rows of that data set. By default, it returns 5, but you can maybe specify, maybe I want the first 15. Let me just invoke that. Then you'll get the first 15 records. You're getting 14 here simply because the default indexing for pandas will start from 0, going downwards to now 14. But you can see the ID starting from 1 to 15. Um, I think that is simply that with the head function. Yeah, this one is just used to just visualize maybe the kind of data frame that you are working with. Like here you can get a lot of like again information. You can see the headers. You can see you are dealing with a data set that has four columns. um, at least you can see the structure of maybe the data. That is the first name. You can see the structure for email and such. Because again, you can have another data set that is having so many columns. So with this header, without even I told you that for those of us who are in the SQL lectures, I told you speed is very important whenever it comes to this programming stuff. Because let's say maybe you wanted to just see to visualize the a data set of maybe 1 million records. You can imagine now the hassle of now like displaying all the what, like reading line by line all the records in that data set. So that is why we have functions like this one for head. You can even maybe say you want to see just the first two the first two what the first two rows of the data. By this you are going to learn a lot of stuff, like you know the kind of data you are dealing with without like using more resources in your computer. You can see where there are two bars here. You can see we have the RAM, and this is the kinds of resources that we check we, we check so much. You can see like now here we are restricted to use just 1.03 to 12.67. So that is where we have, because anytime you run a code, it will always use your RAM. So and that is why we are just trying to utilize our resources very well by having these functions in place. I think again, most of us like so as measuring the time like an SQL query takes to execute. And we always want to minimize the number of seconds that uh, these programs that take to run, so that we cannot misuse the resources that we have in place. So having said that, I think we can move to the second thing. That is all about head function. Um, so let me see the next thing that we should check here. Hmm. I think I had just a simple example here where I was importing pandas SPDDF with a certain CSV file. Even was data.csv. And then I just was maybe printing the first 10 records. Um, so we have another function that is called, or also before we get into the info, I think we have another function that is called tail. Method for viewing the last rows of the data frame. So I think we can just show you that. Where's this? Where is this? Yeah, it's here. You can have now the tail function. Instead of now having the head, you can have the tail. You always invoke that the name of your data frame. In my case, it is student underscore data frame, and then you just have to invoke that function. It is called that is called what? That is called tail. And then if I happen to comment out these and now run these, you notice that I'm getting the last five what? The last five records of this data set. These are just some basics. In data analysis. So we have another function that is called info. do it. You can have hash, then you can say head function returns what? It returns the first 5 records. You can just copy this comment and now bring it here. We can change this one to tail. You can change that one to last. So we can have another function here that is called the info. The info function. Just this will give us the basic information about the data set in data frame. So I think you can just try to implement that, and let us just invoke this student data frame and invoke this function which is called info, and we see what information we are going to get. So you notice that you are getting a lot of information here, whereby we are getting we have what we have I think you can just start with the range index where we have 100 entries. I think we saw that we have 100 entries or records, whereby we have the index from 0 to 99. So 0 to 99 because indexing starts from 0. So again, we get another information here, the data columns, where we have total 4 columns, and even they go ahead and tell us the names of those columns, and we get as well as the count. So we are getting the ID. We have 100. We have 100 first names, last names as well, email as well. We even get the data type. We have ID, is of int, integer type, and then the rest are just objects. We have the data types. We have one integer type, and we have objects of 3 types. Again, it's a repetition from this. So again, we have even the memory usage, whereby we are told that file will consume your 3.2 kilobyte. That is why I told you that this storage is a resource. So and that is why even you are getting the memory usage here again. So these are the kind of information you like, even without seeing that data frame, you can as well just run. You can just run uh, these this function here just to see the overview of that data. You can as well, even without looking that data set. Now with that info function, you can get to learn a lot of information about that data frame. So I think that is data frame info function. So any question up to that point? I'm moving very fast because these are just basic things. After that, I think after getting that, I think we can just get into, I don't know how many minutes are left, but I think I can introduce to you about maybe data cleaning. I think all of us have heard of data cleaning, and data cleaning means just fixing bad data in your data set. And we are told that bad data could be, we might be having empty cells. In our case, we don't have empty cell. You can have data in wrong format. Again, that one is bad data. You can even have wrong maybe data itself. Yeah. Then we can have duplicates. This one happen so much, having duplicates entries. So I think we can just get to know how we deal with empty cells. So we have always how we have methods of dealing with these empty cells. So empty cell can potentially give you a wrong result when you analyzing that data, and that is true. You will definitely like get wrong results in case of empty cells in your data set. So you have always to find a way to add data to those empty cells or just remove them. So I'll just rush into methods of dealing with empty cells, and the first method is by remove rows with empty cells. And I think that is the reason I showed you how to first access a row. How do you access a certain row in a data set or a data frame? We are told that this one is usually okay since data set can be very big, and removing a few rows will not have a big impact on the result. Yeah, I think that one is quite simple to understand. So we have a function for removing we call them empty cells or null values. Um, so you can just run this function. We call it a drop null function. So we can just run this. In our case, in the data set that we're using, we don't have empty cells or empty values. So I don't think it will make a big difference by running this. But in case you have, I think I'll create a data set with some null values so that you can see how it will drop them. But just to show you, this. Yeah, and then let us just have a comment here. Dealing with empty cells. So we have one. This is one. Varies by what? Drop. Is it drop now? Just confirm that. drop now function like this one. So let's say in our case maybe we had our student dot underscore data frame has some null values. We can just run these. We can just run copy. We can copy that and change this one to drop now. This one. When we run these, we are going to drop all the null values. That is just one way of dealing with empty values, empty cells. Yeah, the next thing, let me just see. Hmm, we have that drop now. I think even I've showed you how. I have an example here of how to deal with that again. So now you can have these. We are seeing that now the drop now in place is because it will not return a new data frame, but it will remove all the rows containing the null values from the original data frame. So the next thing is now replacing the empty values. You can replace empty values with maybe some values still within the same data set. So this way you do not have to delete the entire row. You just because of some empty cells. We use this function again here for fill. Just remember that we were using drop to drop the null values. Now we have the fill null values again here that will allow us to replace empty cells with at least some values. You can just add code the values that you want to you can just add code maybe the value that you want to maybe replace with, like this one. In case of this one was your data frame dot fill null values, and I just wanted to fill all the null or empty cells with 130, and we're just calling this in place, and we're just saying that this to be true. So just by running this function, all the empty cells will be filled with 130. Just in case you have a data set that is just having integer values. We can replace only for specified columns. So how we do that again? We must specify those columns. You can call your df, that is the data frame. Let's see your data frame was this one, the pd read data.csv, and let's say you want to replace what your calories, all the empty files with 130. So you just go to specify the column name, that is df column name, and then dot fill with 130. I think that is that. We are going to proceed from this point. Yeah. So we are going to continue from this point, whereby we are going to see how you can replace empty values with mean, median, mode. Yeah, I think this one it will be better if we work with real data. So any question up to that point? I think I was very fast today, but I'm sure you guys were able to learn something. So any question? Any question up to that point? Do you have any question before we drop off? I think we are 9 minutes past the usual time. Sharon, Nyamoya, are you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, that is cool. Wema or Diambo? Wema?
Yes, I'm good. Oh, maybe I'd just like to ask. Yes.
Okay, you can just ask.
What do the pandas mean? I think I've just been seeing it. What does the word mean?
Oh, pandas.
The pandas we've been calling for.
Okay, so pandas is a Python library.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a Python library. Work with large data sets. Yes,
oh,
it gives us more methods to do some to do analysis on data sets. It has a lot of methods for analyzing data. So yeah, basically it's a Python library,
thank you.
and this is how we import it. Import pandas is PD. Any other question, Eric? I'm hoping Eric is not stuck again. Eric, Eric is good. So I think I'm just going
A
to.
question:
Yes, ask.
how do you do indexing in a large data set?
Uh, how do we?
Do you do index in large data sets?
Yes, the way I showed you, you can have you can have named index in the you can have named index, but
Okay.
for large data sets, I don't think it's quite relevant to have it. But if it's required, you can have it because I already showed you how to go about it.
Should you write one by one or?
Yes, that is why I told you it is not mandatory like to have named index. But if you are asked maybe a certain analysis of which I don't think so, um, you're just going to have you're going to write it one by one. But in most cases, you don't have to name your index.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we can just drop off. Yeah, wishing you guys a good night and keep practicing. See you.